democracy triumphing over what could be a dictatorship of one person ruling northern Manhattan and the Bronx. Another Manhattan elected official called Espaillat a Tammany Hall type. One can ask whether some of his tactics have been heavy-handed, Valentin said. The city's progressive movement, too, has been uneasy with Espaillat's politics. Outside organizations have consistently ranked his voting record as among the most progressive in Congress. But he'll take campaign donations from corporate political action committees and conservative organizations like the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, eschewing the litmus tests expected by critics of money's role in politics. Because I'm not a rich guy, Espaillat told City and State, I may be one of the poorest members of Congress. And it's tough for me to go to a local bodega and tell them, give me $1,000. When it comes to elections, Espaillat is not often on progressive side. He opposed Jackson and Gustavo Rivera, who were backed by organizations like the Working Families Party. He also backed Alcantara for state senate in 2016, even after it became clear that she would likely join the Independent Democratic Conference in Albany, which had a power-sharing agreement with Republicans. Espaillat pulled his support for her re-election, but declined to endorse Jackson either. In the 2021 New York City mayoral race, Espaillat was an early backer of a progressive leader, then New York City Controller Scott Stringer. But after his campaign lost momentum following DCity's old allegations of sexual harassment, Espaillat and his closest allies endorsed the relatively moderate Eric Adams, rather than following the progressive exodus to Maya Wiley's campaign. Adams won the race and the vote in Espaillat's congressional district. Some saw Espaillat's focus on ethnic politics as divisive. He, or his supporters, accused Linares of betrayal for backing Rangel over Espaillat in 2012. After all, Dominican candidates winning has often meant African American candidates losing. Espaillat defeated Keith Wright, who is black, to win his congressional seat in a district including Harlem. It's probably best if I don't comment, said Wright, who is now the Manhattan Democratic Party chair. There are some complicating factors to the easy black versus Dominican narrative, however. The first of which is that Espaillat, as a dark-skinned man of partially African descent, identifies himself as black and Latino. He helped reunite the Black and Latino caucuses in Albany in the 1990s. And made waves by trying to join the Congressional Black Caucus after already being a member of Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Earlier this year, he said he was still trying to join the Congressional Black Caucus, even as Torres, a fellow Afro-Latino representative, has become a member of both. Espaillat was also eager to push back against the idea that he only supports Dominican candidates, rattling off a list of candidates he has supported, mostly outside the bounds of his district. And it's true, from Adams in the mayoral race and Talai Farhadi and Weinstein in the 2021 Manhattan District Attorney race, to Ayala, and then Francisco Moya in the ill-fated 2021 City Council Speaker race, it's rare to find a race where Espaillat doesn't get involved. And of course, Espaillat was also never fully embraced by all Dominicans, even in the Heights. His local feuds with Linares have become the stuff of political legend. And with the growth of Dominican political power, supporting a Dominican candidate for office often means running against other Dominicans. Hailey Rivera, an educator and longtime Dominican political activist, was just one of those candidates. Rivera campaigned for Espaillat in 2012, but when he ran for city council himself last year, Espaillat backed Pirina Sanchez. Rivera said he understood, they're working toward the same goal of Dominican political representation. I can hold a personal grudge, or I can say let's continue working together to build political power and the resources we need, he said. Every other community did it. Puerto Ricans did it, the African American community, and it's only a matter of time before the Mexican community does it. Espaillat has a way of winning over foes. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, now a close ally, ran against Espaillat in a state senate primary. Assemblymember Udelka Tapia wasn't part of his club, now she's an insider. Torres has become an ally in Congress. Even Rangel is now considered a friend. Espaillat isn't shy about his political ambitions. City and State asked him in a September phone call why he gets so involved in local politics. What's the end goal? Fairness, representation, and for communities to move forward. Hopefully together, he said. And for communities that are down and out and often don't see themselves in the boardroom or the discussion room to feel that they have a voice and can move their families forward for the future. One of those communities, obviously, is Dominicans in Washington Heights, Inwood and the West Bronx. And they certainly get special attention when it comes to Espaillat's political activities. But his goals are bigger than that. I'm a progressive. I'm a practical guy. I believe that more women should be in government. I believe that race matters. I believe that ethnicity is important. And that everybody should have a seat at the table. And that's, I think, the fundamental piece of being a progressive, he said. If you cannot wrestle with that and get it done, everything else is just window dressing. Harlem deserves to have black leadership, he said. East Harlem, or El Barrio, deserves to have Puerto Rican leadership. If you cannot understand that there's 1 million Dominicans in New York City and we deserve to have a seat at the table, what can be more progressive than that? Correction. An earlier version of this story incorrectly identified the first Dominican American elected to the state Senate.
That's what New York City is all about. All these power clubs and power political clubs and yeah, I don't know what to say. Peace out.